Hey guys, it's Steve from the Fat Life Project. Welcome back to my channel. I have only recently just returned from Kenya, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that it was the most transformative experience of my life. That said, this was also the country that I did the most pre-trip research for. And what I found was that unlike the other countries that I've previously covered on this channel, such as Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, there just wasn't enough information out there that specifically catered to first-time travelers like I was. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do one. In this video, I'm gonna share with you all the do's and don'ts that you need to be aware of before heading to Kenya. My goal basically is to have you walking away by the end of this video, ready to take on Kenya like a seasoned traveler. And so without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the do's, and right on the top of the list of the do's is vaccinations. Now, I wish to preface this by saying that I'm not a medical expert, so it's best to double check whatever I'm going to say in this section with your GP, but there is a list of vaccinations that you're generally recommended if you're heading to Kenya for the first time. Specifically, these ones are the ones that I got. Special mention to the yellow fever vaccine that must be done at least 10 days prior to your trip, so that's something to keep in mind. Again, this was what I was recommended by my doctor. It's best to double check with yours before undertaking any of this. Next up on the do list is entry requirements, and good news, as of the 1st of January 2024, most visitors do not require a visa to enter Kenya. However, you must obtain an electronic travel authorization, aka ETA, before your arrival, and I would recommend doing this at least 5 to 7 days before your trip, as processing can take a bit of time. It is fairly straightforward to apply for, so I'm not going to walk you through that. The website at which you apply for this ETA is here. I've also placed it in my description box. You will need to supplement the application with your flight details, accommodation details, and passport, and the application fee is about $36 US. You'll receive your approved ETA via email, and once you do, print it out and fold it up so it looks a little something like this. I hope you can see it, and have it with your passport to present to the immigrations as you're entering the country. Hey guys, it's Editing Steve, just jumping right in to say that you will come across other websites that are not the URL that I just showed you, claiming to also be able to process your ETA. And yes, in some cases you will be able to get your ETA, but beware that these are not the official government sites. They're actually more often than not third-party sites that claim to be able to process your ETA quicker than the official government site, but it's going to cost you more. I actually had a friend who also recently went to Kenya and paid $80 US to get his ETA processed. It only cost me $36. So yes, only go to this website that I've listed here and no other website, please. Next up on the do list is to have an active mobile data connection. And if you plan to travel extensively throughout Kenya for a long period of time, I would recommend getting a Safaricom local SIM card. There are two very important reasons why. The first one's obvious. Having an active mobile data connection is essential for you to get around the city, as you'll need it for Google Maps in the very least. And hot tip, roaming doesn't work very well there, particularly if you plan to head outside of Nairobi. You will easily locate the Safaricom counter the moment you exit the arrival halls at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. The price of a Safaricom SIM card is $11 and comes with 400 minutes of calls, 2,000 text messages, and 5 gigabytes of data. But the second reason why you want to go with a Safaricom SIM card is because the Safaricom SIM card is also the most compatible network with M-Pesa. What is M-Pesa, I hear you say? Well, it is the main cashless payment method used in Kenya. You will literally be able to use it everywhere, from paying for your matatu, your cab, roadside stands, souvenir stalls, all the way to major grocery stores and train tickets. It is definitely something to bear in mind, especially if you do not want to be lugging cash around when you're traveling. By the way, you will want to activate your M-Pesa while getting your Safaricom SIM card, because guess what? You cannot activate your M-Pesa by yourself. You will need an agent at the Safaricom store to do it. It is free to do, and all you need to provide for the activation process is your passport. Once the activation process is done, your M-Pesa is ready to go. Simply use your phone to scan QR codes that look like this to make a payment. You will also need your physical passport on hand when topping up the M-Pesa. You can top it up at any Safaricom shop or pretty much anywhere that offers M-Pesa as a payment method. To top up, simply open up your M-Pesa app, which you will already have during the activation process. Give the vendor your M-Pesa number and amount at which you wish to top up, and then keep refreshing the app until the top up amount reflects in your app balance. You will also get a text message when that transaction has been fulfilled. Now, there are several ways to top up your M-Pesa account. You could also use an international wire transfer or PayPal, but I personally just preferred using cash as I already had some Kenyan shillings on hand. Which leads quite nicely into the next item on the do list, which is to have some Kenyan shillings exchanged and ready to go, or USD on hand before your arrival. By the way, if you do not want to go down the M-Pesa route, or perhaps you're traveling with some other people who require an active mobile data connection but not an M-Pesa account, you may consider getting an Esim as well. I personally also purchased a Holofly Esim with unlimited data, as I usually have to do some work whilst I'm on the go. I think I paid $29.90 for a 5-day unlimited data Esim. I've placed the link in my description box if you want to purchase that. I'm now going to get into the don'ts that you want to be aware of before heading to Kenya, but before I do, hi, I'm Steve from the Fat Life Project, and my channel is all about creating fat travel guides just like the one that you're watching right now, with the intention of helping you plan your travels to cities around the world more effectively. And so if that is your vibe, don't forget to subscribe so that we can go on more fat travel adventures together. And right on top of the don't list is do not bring a drone. Yes, you can technically apply for a permit via the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, but from what I'm aware of, the process can be quite lengthy. If you don't happen to have a permit from them and try to bring a drone into Kenya, there's a very high chance that your drone will be confiscated and you'll never see it again. The next one on the don't list is one of a similar nature. Whilst taking photos and videos in public places can be a great way of remembering your trip, you need to know that photos and videos are frowned upon and in some places in Kenya forbidden. It is therefore best to stick to taking photos and videos only when you're at touristy spots such as parks and monuments or conservation centers that are camera friendly. I personally only captured content when I was in a tourist attraction spot and recommend that you do the same. Additionally, if you are carrying some expensive filming equipment while you're on the go, just be mindful of your belongings. The next one on the don't list is do not hail a cab. If you do want to take a cab, I recommend booking one via the Uber app instead. In fact, Uber was my main mode of transportation when I was in Nairobi. It cost me around $10 to $12 to wherever I wanted to go within Nairobi, which I feel is fairly inexpensive. Additionally, booking your cabs via the Uber app also allows you to control or fix the fare of the travel before booking versus just hailing a cab. However, if $10 to $12 is a bit much for you to pay for each ride, you may want to consider catching a matatu, which is one of these colorful looking buses. They are definitely a more local way to get around, and you can pay for these bus rides using your M-Pesa account. Just make sure that you are aware of where you need to get on and get off. Google Maps will work fine for that. Nairobi is a wonderful city, and if you do have a couple of days in Nairobi, here are, by the way, some of the wonderful things that I would recommend you do here. However, do not go all the way to Kenya just to stay in Nairobi. I would in particular recommend heading to an African safari. I spent 2 beautiful days at the Masai Mara National Reserve, and it was honestly one of the most amazing experiences of my life. There were so many points throughout the trip where I couldn't believe what I was looking at. It is a surreal experience that I highly recommend. I have previously uploaded a video detailing everything that you need to be aware of before heading to the Masai Mara, as well as some of the things that you have to do when you're there. I have linked that video at the end of this video so that you can go ahead and watch that next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you found value in this video. It really does help in appeasing those YouTube algorithm gods, but more importantly, it just makes my day as a content creator. Specifically, if you have some feedback or questions for me, leave me a comment in the comment section. I reply to every single comment. And if you got to this point of the video, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean absolutely everything. As always, I hope that you you have a fantastic day ahead or that you've already had a good day. I will see you very soon in the next video. Ciao!